Friends, as I said in the previous video, this is the second in a series of 3 short videos on ways with words. The second model question paper with its answers. Well, these questions are carefully selected from the previous university question papers. As usual, you will find the link to the PDF down below in the description box. Take a printout, watch the video as many times as you can, and read the questions and answers at your leisure. If possible, watch the video just before you go into the examination hall so that your memory is fresh. So let us start with the first question of the second model question paper on ways with words. Short answer question number 1. What is the wailful choir described by Keats in Ode to Autumn? The cry of the gnats is described as wailful choir by Keats. Short answer question number 2. Who are the beneficent beasts of prey and the greedy good doers? These expressions refer to the leaders of the business class and political parties who make money in the name of charitable work for the poor people. Question number 3. What is the best and the worst of remembering? The best and the worst of remembering in the poem The Old Folks Laugh is looking back at one's life. Short answer question number 4. What do you mean by ice block cold eyes? Ice block cold eyes is a metaphorical expression which means the eyes are as cold and devoid of feeling and warmth as blocks of ice. Question number 5. What is the context of the song? The times they are changing. The song was composed in the early 1960s during the American Civil Rights Movement as an anthem of change. Question number 6. Why was Death surprised at seeing the servant in Baghdad? Death was surprised at seeing the servant in Baghdad because it had already fixed an appointment with him at Samara that night. 7. How did Jerome's father die? Jerome's father was walking along a street in Naples. Then a heavy pig fell on him from the balcony of the 5th floor of a tenement. He broke his neck and died. Question number 8. What might be the probable reasons for Patrick to leave his wife? Patrick might be having an affair with another woman who persuades him to leave Mary. He might also have become bored with the kind of over-concern and possessiveness shown by his wife. 9. Why did Mom toot the horns of the car on Wednesday mornings when she was out on the road? She wanted to let her friends and relatives know that she was on her way to the market. They would place orders and she would buy them from the market. Question number 10. Who is a buttonholing bore? The most repellent specimen, the most hateful specimen of bore is buttonholing bore. He spreads bird lime all over and narrates funny stories that have no fun. We are forced to fake laughter, to pretend to be laughing while listening to him. Question number 11. What can be the reasons for strange light in the sky according to Sagan? The reason for strange light in the sky according to Sagan can be, number 1, an automobile headlight reflected off a high altitude cloud, or a flight of luminescent insects that produce light, or an unconventional aircraft, or a conventional aircraft with an unconventional lighting patterns. Short answer question number 12. Who is the dark horse mentioned in the play? Mrs. Hornby, the newly elected regent, is the dark horse mentioned in the play. A little known candidate who unexpectedly wins an election is a dark horse. Well friends, these are the 12 short answer questions. Now let's move on to the paragraph questions. Paragraph question number 1. Question 13. Explain the pun on the word state in Sonnet 29. Shakespeare repeats the word state, playing on its different meanings, such as kingdom and situation. These are the two different meanings. Number 1, kingdom. Number 2, situation. In the second line, my outcast state means the poet's situation of being shunned, ignored by the society. In 1952, the poet was jobless due to the closing down of the theatres after the outbreak of the plague. Another reason for his outcast state is his bitter rivalry with Robert Greene, a fellow playwright. In line number 10, the word state is used as a pun because it anticipates the meaning of the word in the final couplet. In these two lines, in the final couplet, the poet's humble but blessed state of being loved is wealthier than the state with king, which stands for kingdom. Question number 14. What is the persona of the farmer that is revealed in A Roadside Stand? The farmer represents the poor villagers who are hurt by the meanness of the city people. The villagers feel the pain of rejection. The city men are heartless in their indifference. Their complaint is about spoiling the beauty of the scenery, whereas the complaint that the rural people have is that their basic needs are ignored. What they need is a small share of the city's money, a chance to experience some of the luxuries that they have seen in the Hollywood movies. It is the insensitive attitude of the city people that pains the villagers. Question number 15. Discuss the autobiographical elements in House of My Childhood. The House of My Childhood by Dilip Chitre is an autobiographical poem filled with nostalgia. It is set in the background of his ancestral home, where the speaker spent his childhood. He is trying to recollect the past memories. He describes his feelings towards the house as well as his grandmother. The passage of seasons has made colorless crack on his memories. Now he is standing in front of the empty house. There is no furniture, nor any bird to receive him. The only things that remain is the grandmother's grindstone and her brass figurines. He moves around the house like the child who toddled many years ago. Only the words distribute their silence among the vague figures in his mind. Question number 16. What are the two versions of his father's death that Jerome narrates? Why does he do so? Jerome narrates two different versions of his father's death. He knew that his father died in an unexpected and funny way. When he would narrate that his father died when a pig fell on him from the sky, it sounded absurd and hilarious. So he thought of changing his way of narrating the story. to avoid any silly comments or laughter from the audience. The first version of narration led gently up to the accident. He would just say that his father was killed by a pig in Italy and end the narration. In the second version, he added a lot of details like how people reared pigs and chicken on the balconies so that it didn't sound funny. Paragraph question number 17. Discuss the irony present in the story Lamb to the Slaughter. An instance of irony occurs towards the end of the story. Mrs. Maloney has called the police. The detectives are in her house to investigate the crime. Meanwhile, she politely offers them the cooked leg of the lamb to eat. While eating, one of the officers says that the weapon used for the murder is probably right under our very noses. This statement is literally true, as they were eating the leg of the lamb, which was the actual murder weapon. Question number 18. What are the various instances of extrasensory perceptions cited by Sagan? Extrasensory perception, that is ESP, or the sixth sense, includes the so-called reception of information by mind. There are instances of perception of a disaster about to occur, the death of a loved one, a communication from a long lost friend, or the occurrence of a predicted event. The scientific community rejects it due to the absence of evidence. Sagan gives an example of the precognitive experience. Once he woke up at midnight, he got knowledge about the death of a close relative. His foreknowledge proved wrong. It is rare that a person dreams of a disaster and then immediately it happens. Sagan says that such precognition, that is foreknowledge, and its subsequent verification speak of another realm of reality. Now, the last paragraph question. Comment on the significance of roses in the play, something unspoken. Cornelia presents a bunch of 15 roses to her secretary, Grace, for being with her for 15 years, one rose for each year. It is her way of acknowledging the relationship. Cornelia asks Grace whether she has noticed the single rose which she has placed in a crystal vase on the table. But Grace tries to evade the talk by playing some phonograph records. The gift of roses, however, does not bring any feeling of warmth between them. Grace is not ready to acknowledge what their relationship means to her. The tension of the play is built up in this conflict between Cornelia and Grace over what will and what will not remain spoken between them. Well, friends, this is the end of the paragraph questions. Now, let's move on to the essay questions. Essay number 1. Question number 20. The poem Once Upon a Time shows the replacement of innocence by experience. Elucidate. Well, the essay has been prepared in 5 paragraphs. Paragraph number 1. Gabriel O'Carra's Once Upon a Time is a poem that laments the loss of innocence in adulthood. This is paragraph number 1. Paragraph number 2. The father tells his son how he remembers people in the past used to laugh with their hearts and eyes, but now they laugh only with their teeth. Open display of emotion is looked at with suspicion. There was a time when relationships were based on mutual respect and cordiality. Now, people form friendships for personal benefits. The father laments that hospitality has lost its warmth. Intimate personal relationship is not encouraged now. The poet admits that he too has learned to live amidst such hypocrites, to wear many faces like dresses, a home face, office face, street face, host face, and cocktail face. He has also learned how to say good old phrases such as goodbye and glad to meet you without its meaning. Paragraph number 4. However, the poet wants to revert back to the time when he was a child, like his son. He wants to forget all these stifling things, these killing things that are taking the life out of him. He is disgusted with himself as he now resembles what he hated most in society. At the end, the father requests a child to teach him how to express his emotions. He is eager to go back to a time when he was young, carefree, and naive. Now we come to the last paragraph. Okara contrasts the childhood innocence with the adult world of hypocrisy. He portrays how the Western culture has brought about a complete transformation in the society. Well, friends, this is the end of the first essay. Now we come to the second essay. Question number 21. Isolated and frustrated women's plights is a recurrent theme in William's plays. Comment on this statement with reference to his play, Something Unspoken. Paragraph number 1. William's play, Something Unspoken, presents the theme of the plight of the condition of isolated and frustrated women. Well, this is the first paragraph. Paragraph number 2. Cornelia is a wealthy spinster, an unmarried woman in her 60s. She dresses elegantly and lives her life with pomp and show. As the play opens, she rings up the Confederate Daughters Society and announces her intention, her consent to be nominated for the post of the regent of the organization. With an air of superiority, she tells her secretary that she would foil any organized plots within society against her. Paragraph number 3. Cornelia is bossy, like a boss, to her secretary Grace as well. The bouquet of roses that she presents to Grace is devoid of warmth. It is without warmth. Both of them are looking for love and sympathy. But the wall of silence between them over a period of 15 years makes it impossible for them to get closer. When Cornelia inquires why Grace has never expressed her feelings towards her, Grace says she is afraid to address the issue. Paragraph number 4. As the play progresses, the playwright exposes the real woman beneath her facade, beneath the outward appearance facade. Cornelia feels lonely and eager for approval, but is afraid of rejection. She yearns to be elected as a regent, but unfortunately, she has no supporters. Totally shattered, she decides to resign from the organization. And now we come to the last paragraph. The play portrays the intricacies, the complexities in the relationship between Cornelia and Grace. Cornelia's life continues to be dull and boring. Her only enjoyment in life is her pretension to self-importance, which will continue throughout her life. Well, friends, This is the end of the second model question paper. Watch the video as many times as you can. Take a printout from the link that is given below, and you can also read the questions as well as the answers at your leisure. And don't forget to watch the video just before you go into the examination hall so that your memory is fresh. So that's it. Thank you very much. And I'll come up with the third model question paper in the next video. Until then, thank you very much. Goodbye.